Curious, have you ever watched a child stare blankly at a textbook and wondered if they are actually absorbing anything at all? That blank stare is the result of passive learning. Standard rote memorization relies entirely on repetition, a method that consistently fails to hold a modern child's fast-moving attention span. This animated diagram shows exactly what is missing. On the left, traditional reading activates a single, isolated region. On the right, we see multi-sensory coordination, a process that forces multiple regions of the brain to light up and communicate at the same time. Cognitive capacity expands through a coordinated physical and mental workout that builds new neural pathways. Coordinated action changes the mechanics of how a child's brain processes and stores every new input. Think of the physical abacus. It acts as a tactile learning interface designed to force strict physical and mental alignment. Following the precise positions of these tiny beads demands intense focus, locking the brain's visual cortex into a state of continuous engagement. Manipulating the beads accurately requires the simultaneous use of both hands. Look at this top-down model of the brain to see the impact. That continuous left-right finger movement stimulates both hemispheres at once, driving rapid data pulses straight across the center of the brain. Each time a bead clicks into place, that immediate physical feedback translates short-term calculations into long-term muscle memory. This physical manipulation acts as the hardware training, conditioning the brain to handle complex, abstract math later on. Once the physical movement is established, the workout introduces auditory pressure through high-speed dictation. An instructor calls out a rapid sequence of numbers, forcing the student to process auditory information without missing a beat. The child translates that sound directly into a physical finger movement, without a fraction of a second of hesitation. Running through this continuous loop of listening, processing, and reacting serves as heavy weightlifting for a child's working memory. Applying that specific auditory pressure forces a student to abandon passive listening and switch entirely to rapid-fire logical thinking. Then comes the critical phase. The physical tool is removed entirely. This forces a process called mental visualization. The child must recreate the image of the abacus purely in their mind's eye. The brain performs calculations by moving imaginary beads across an internal grid. This trains it to store information visually. If a child can maintain this mental abacus, they use that same visual retention to scan and recall complex scientific diagrams or maps. You can see this mental state taking over when a child closes their eyes and twitches their fingers in the air, manipulating an invisible tool. Developing the ability to calculate purely through visualization proves the child has successfully trained their brain to process abstract logic in real time. All of this internal rewiring translates directly into behavioral changes parents will observe at home. That newly developed concentration span keeps a student locked in, preventing them from zoning out when tackling dense, text-heavy school assignments. Long-standing anxiety around math disappears, replaced by confident, decisive problem-solving. Mastermind Abacus builds these permanent cognitive habits through a methodical, structured curriculum spanning 6 distinct levels over 18 months of weekly classes. Parents can witness this methodology in action by attending a free live demo class before making any commitments. Secure a spot today by calling the numbers provided or visiting the Mastermind Abacus website. Real brain development is the direct result of a structured multisensory workout.